Okay, hello. Oh dear, oh dear. Every time I look at something right now, it's just a ton. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff that I'm seeing. I don't know. We're back with, in fact, the next few videos I'm going to do are kind of little follow-up videos for bits and pieces that I either forgot to put in or I've since expanded on and had a further look at and seen more stuff that's connected to these previous videos that we've just done. We are back with this. Well, I guess I should have started with this. We're back with this guy, right? Peyton Manning. Okay, this was the quarterback for both the Colts and the Broncos. Yeah. Now, man, there's some connections here. But the connection we did in the last video was this connection with Omaha and D-Day. Okay, now there actually happens to be even more connections than I originally had thought, and that there probably is even more connections than what I'm going to show you now. I just don't have time to sit and do all this stuff really. I'm just busy right now. We've got haymaking on the agenda, so I just don't have time to just sit and do a whole bunch of decoding. Anyway, this character here, so he is famous for the, well, let's write on this, the OMAHA the OMAHA call. Okay, the OMAHA. Okay, they're slightly similar to Omega as well. Omega. Yeah, so OMAHA. Yeah, the journey home to the Omega. Similar ideas, similar phonetics there. Anyway, getting sidetracked already. The connection we made was this going through to 66, which is, this thing just does not work very good. 66, which is the D-Day landings, okay, in World War II, okay. So the beginning of the end, technically speaking, of the war, of World War II. Anyway, what we had for the number jump, and we're going to have to come back to this in just a second as well, his name, I want to show you something. In fact, if I remember, I've already put it in the title, so you've probably already seen it and been like, why has he spelled that like that? Well, let's just do it right now. Okay. I just don't know about this machine. Come on, right, you bugger. Can we get it? Come on. Okay. Is it going to do it? It's because I'm at the top of this thing, and for some reason this thing runs super slow. PYEton. Okay, pay and pi. Okay, the anagram of pay could be pi. Okay. Yep. Yep. Yes. Yep. But the old, maybe the old English way of spelling pi. Okay. So anyway, and obviously the man as well in the name is super duper important. But anyway, Peyton Manning. Okay. This Omaha connection with him. Yeah. So he's famous for this cool Omaha. Okay. I don't believe I think other teams use the call, or have used the call, and other quarterbacks have used it before, but he's the one that's famous for it. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to go and look at this number jump that's so important, right? So his birthday right here through to 66, which is the landings on Omaha Beach, okay, on D-Day. Okay, so D-Day, Omaha Beach, Peyton Manning, famous for using the call Omaha in the football game. Okay, this is our palindromic number that that is showing up. Now don't forget that Donald Trump's going to be on September the 1st, 9/1 or 1/9, however you want to write it. Donald Trump will be 79 years old, 79 days old. Okay, it'll be the double gold. Okay, and again, 79 is gold. Okay, so this is, they've got this gold reference in here. We've got this reference back to Donald Trump. We've got a reference back to the date even, because of course we've got September, named for the 7th, is the 9th. The 7/9, the gold. Okay, September is the gold. Yeah, September is the gold, and we got the 1 on the, we got the 1, to give us the first. So this is a super duper. Even if and then you can go further and go and look up, 97, 79, 971, 179, and look at all the connections there as well. But we're not going to do that. It's all super duper interesting though. Just don't have time. Anyway, so we've got that right. Let's get rid of this now. So this is what got me kind of interested in PYEton Manning. Okay, this number jumped right here. Anyway, and the OMAHA thing, right? So what I want to do is show you in Back to the Future now how this ties back to the future. So in Back to the Future, let's go to the start of it where the clocks are all at. Okay, so if we move on just a few seconds from this point here, this is the coffee maker without the coffee pot there. Okay, so the water is just flowing everywhere. Okay, I've mentioned before, this could be a potential reference to the Hoover Dam. Yeah, because there is no pot anymore here. Yeah, the water is splashing and going everywhere when this thing goes off, and it's going off. Yeah, the clock is X'd out here, but it's on 8/8. Okay,
better price.
you watch that. There's the 8/8. Now we come to this clock right here. This is a Denver Broncos clock. Okay. Now, okay. So if we now put in the idea of PYEton Manning in here, yeah, and the OMAHA call, okay, then we know that, again, that this is essentially, what I want to say, this is essentially going from the OMAHA, which is D-Day, okay, and notice that Denver has the D on the helmet, D-Day, okay, so going from D-Day, this is just absolutely mental, through to maybe the Hoover Dam breaking, going the 88 days, okay, and then we see the dam break, okay, so we see the water flowing, okay, rebirth of man, yeah, okay, so hopefully everybody's following that. So that's in Back to the Future, right? Now I want to show you something else that's pretty interesting, and maybe we will see a reference with PYEton Manning here in the next few days, maybe. I'm wondering if we will, because I want to show you some numbers that show up with him. Okay, so there's a story back in his youth. In fact, if we just come back to here, let's get rid of this crud. And if we drop down somewhere in here with his college career, where he's at Tennessee, right? Okay. It looks like he maybe starts in 94. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, there's this sexual assault allegation, okay, and it's to do with this lady here, okay. Now, I could read you the story. Basically, what happens is, well, let's just read it. So this Jamie, and look at the name, Norright, not right, Norright. Jamie Ann Norright, and I don't know if I'm even saying that right, but it just seems like not right, alleged that he pressed, we're talking about Manning here, okay, pressed his genitals against her face during a foot examination. Manning said that he was pulling a prank by mooning Malcolm Saxon, a cross-country runner who was in the room. And this is interesting, isn't it? Because that clock had the X through it. Okay, cross-country and Saxon as well. Kind of interesting. Because what we're going to find is that this old girl here also ties in with this 6-6. So this is, again, just thinking about that in that scene there with the 88 cross through. Anyway, so cross country runner who was in the room as not right bent over to examine him. Okay, so supposedly he pulls down his breeches and is mooning this other guy, but she just happens to be right in front of him, kneeling down, bent over, to examine his foot, and his tackle, I guess, is in her face. It just all sounds made up. It really does sound completely made up. Although, kids will be kids, so to speak. He's obviously a very young man at this point in time. So, young guys in a changing room, maybe in a locker room, and why would you even have University of Tennessee? Why would you even employ a female to be in with the young lads? Anytime you put somebody, anytime we have a position where we shouldn't put a certain individual in that location. I mean, you think about male teachers with young female students, that's just the situation that we really shouldn't be doing, because eventually or inevitably there will be somebody that is tempted to do something that's not right, and this is why we have cultures where they have these kind of checks in place to stop that kind of stuff happening. But of course, in the modern world where everybody has to be treated equally and blah-de blah-de blah, rights this, rights that, oh, we've got to have a woman in there doing. No doubt she can do the job, but is it appropriate? No, not really. Anyway, just common sense, isn't it? Anyway, so whatever happens is his tackle ends up in her face somewhat. And subsequently, at a later date, there's another lawsuit where he's some kind of defamation lawsuit because he says that she has a vulgar mouth, which again is kind of interesting with the idea of his tackle being right there in front of her face. Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, I think it's all set up. She also made a list of 33 complaints. Ended up with 300,000 supposedly. Anyway, what is going on here? Let me do your picture because this is important with the shirt that he wears. Okay, so the male genitalia. Okay, let's draw a crude idea of it. Yeah, what we have is the number 1 and the number 8. Okay, and then her face is 2 eyes and a nose. Yeah, it's really 8. If I could just draw, come on. It's really another, what am I doing? Let's draw it this way. It's really another 8 and another 1. Okay, this is some old decoding here that I've done in the past. But this is interesting with the reference to him. Okay, so we've got double 18 going on with this story. Yeah, the 2 numbers that he plays when he plays for the Colts. Yeah. Oops. And when he plays for the Broncos, he's playing 18 and 18. Yeah, and there's this very unusual story about him flipping his tackle out in her face. Yeah, 1818 is the symbolism with those two pieces of physical anatomy. Okay, so very interesting indeed. Right, let's get off of that, because we're going to look at we've got some number jumps that are going to tie back into this. You've got to keep all this stuff in the back of your mind, okay, because it's super duper interesting, the connections here. Okay, oh yeah, before I forget as well, yeah, just thinking as well about the Colts. Yeah, the symbolism for the Colts, the horseshoe. Yes, you've heard the term horseshoe dam. Yeah, so another reference to the dam. The horseshoe is a reference to the dam. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so this palindromic number was interesting. Let's now look at her number as, so we're going from her birthday now. This is this woman's birthday through to the same Omaha D-Day date, 6/6, yeah? 20706. Now I was like, wow, that is interesting, because in that last video when we did those number jumps with him, let's see if I can find them. We did his birthday, again we did his birthday through to 9/1 was, okay, I've got to take this off to do this. We click this number and look what it came out at. It came out at 2070. Now what was also interesting was when we did this number jump through to the Omaha D-Day, okay, it was 2060. So we had the 2060 and the 2070 to our pi date, the 1st of September, so that we had 207, you know, sort of numbers, 206 prime numbers, and from her birthday through to this particular day is 20706. We got those. You see that numerology popping up there with this? Absolutely fascinating. And of course, what I want to also show you is that 277, obviously if you include the end date, 277 is going to become another connection later, okay, because we're going to be looking at an inversion of this number as well. So hang on a second, let's just click this. Let me just note that this is another prime number as well, which is kind of interesting. It's 2331, so you can pick some interesting stuff out of that, I'm sure. But again, unclick, right? Oh, by the way, yeah, so we're going to come on to a date here in a minute, which is an inversion of this, right? And we're going to be looking at 722. Okay, so it's a, you know, we've got inverted numbers, 722. Okay, and the reason why we're going to look at 722, well, there's some interesting number jumps that come out for him for 722, and of course 22 divide that by 7, okay, and that gives us an approximation of pi, 3.14, yada yada yada. Okay, so yeah, what do I say? Okay, pi, PYEton, PYEton. Okay, let's get rid of this. Come on, I've got to think what I'm doing. So this connection with the 1/8, I thought also we ought to do a 1818 jump. Okay, so there's two numbers that come out with this 1818 jump, right? So his birthday again comes out 7/22, including end date. Okay, so we can fudge it a little bit, but 7/22. I was like, oof, okay, that's super duper interesting. The other interesting thing is it's 49 years, 21 days, which ties us back with Pluto again and plutonium. Okay, and the day of the year with the 121 for our 121 days left, and our bolt of lightning, 121 days left on the 1st of September. Okay, and these are the numbers he wore. Okay, 1818. Yeah, and this reference with her, 1818. You know, so that was interesting, right? I don't know if I had her. I thought I had her number jump as well to that particular date. But anyway, 7/22 is a super interesting, date in the calendar anyway. Apart from being referencing back to pi, what is interesting about this is that this is the twin date with 6/11. Okay, now why 6/11 is if you watch Jurassic Lives, 6/11 is super duper important. But if you look at the calendar, let me show you. Well, let's go to 6/11 first. 6/11, 162 days. 162 days into the year, 203 left. Okay, this is super duper important. And here's our 7/22. Yeah, 203, 162 days left. Now, why is that important? Because there's another reference to pi, and it's this reference, the dartboard. Yeah, it's a big pi. Okay, now if we put a perfect cross in the dartboard, yeah, straight up and down, okay, look at the numbers we get, 203. Okay, and then if we come across, so we've got a perfect cross in the dartboard in the pi, yeah, 6 or 116, 6/11, and of course this is 203 days left in the year. The 11th of June is 203 days left in the year, and it's the twin date for 7/22. Okay, pretty interesting, isn't it? Anyway, is there anything else I want to mention about that? Not right now. Let's do something else. Hang on. So we want to go back to this. Oh no, we don't. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. So this here, right? So 1818 is taken as 7/22. Where was we at? Oh, I wanted to show you. Well, I got what was I going to show you? Let's unclick that now. Okay, hang on a minute. Did we do this? God, I can't remember what we're doing anymore. Yeah, we did that one. Okay, because there's another number jumping here which I'm trying to find, which I can't remember where I put it now. Okay, we need to do that. Right, was it this one? Yeah, I have to click this off. Hang on a minute. No, blimmin' out, I've completely lost where I was at with the number jumps here. Hang on a second, hang on, bear with me. We've done that one. We did those two with his first date. That was her number jump again. Oh dear Dan. This is the problem. I've got too much. There's way too much info here. Let me just show you something with the 203 before we get his full name. Okay, we come across his full name is a 302. Okay, so we've got that number straight up and down on the dartboard, and our 203 for the day of the year for 7/22. Okay, 6/11. Notice her name as well has the 180 in it. okay, the 18 reference again. Okay, we've got some other stuff that we might come and look at in a minute as well. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's just all kind of the Colts. Okay, 66 in there. Yada yada yada. You can sort of stop the screen and have a look for yourself at what's there. So it's all interesting stuff, but there's no point in just talking about it. Where is this blooming number gone? Okay, well I want to talk about that in just a second. The double 18 again. It was the one that. Well, hang on a minute. Hang on. Let's just put it in. Where do I want to go? 722. Let's just put it in, because for whatever reason I'm either skimming over it, I'm not really watching it correctly. It was the 1818 again. Dear oh dear, Dan, come on. Why am I not seeing what I know I saw this number earlier. It was I'm sure it was a 302. Oh dear oh dear. I can't think why. Anyway, I feel like I've lost a number in here somewhere. Maybe it was. Let's just try. Hang on, let me just try one more thing. Bear with me. Let me just try going from her birthday now. Maybe that was it. To 722, just to see what that was. Click that. Oh, that was 2338. I don't even think I had that before. Blimmin' hell. This is a real messed up job, Dan. Okay, well that's interesting. It's prime again. I'm sorry about this. This is absolutely terrible. Oh, look at that. That's kind of interesting as well. That's coming out at 1992. Seen a lot of 192 stuff, yeah, because it's got the 1st of September and the 2nd of September wrapped up in the number. I think we've got another one of those numbers coming up somewhere shortly as well in these number jumps. But anyway, I can't find this 302 somewhere in here. It may be a completely different number jump that I'm thinking of anyway. So somewhere I've got a 302 in here lurking to connect. Let's connect up the other dots, right? So his birthday through to 9/1, just this year, is 162 days, yeah? Right now he's 49 years, 160, and he'll be 162 days, 49 years, 162 days on 9/1. So he's 49 right now. That'll be important in just a second, because we're going to tie in another OMAHA to this. The other thing I wanted to tie in was this 42-day jump. Okay, from 722 through to 9/1 as well. Okay, so so if something were to happen, or if there was something happen to do with PYEton Manning on 722, some kind of story in the news, and it might be. I wonder, because they call him the sheriff, so it might be some kind of connection to that as well. Maybe he'll get arrested or something for doing something naughty. Anyway, 722 through to 9/1, okay, 42 days. Now, why was that important? We've skipped over this a second ago. Yeah, so I've got 181 in here, and it's the 42nd prime. So this is like an 18 reflected, you know, he's wearing the 18 shirt twice. Okay, so I just thought it would be kind of interesting as well, connecting that date in. The 162 goes with our 203. Okay, so that ties in with the twin day, you know, or the same day, you know, with the 203, 162 days. Okay, so that was about it. We were coming out on that Pi day. the 18 reference, the double 18 with his wiener thing with her face. I'm trying to think what else there was. Yeah, the double 18 was bringing him out to that date. 49. So let's do the other OMAHA connection, which is the Wizard of Oz. Okay, and in the Wizard of Oz, at the end of the Wizard of Oz, the wizard takes off in his hot air balloon, or whatever the hell it is, to go home. And where's his home? It's Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, so this is kind of interesting with getting back to close to the end. Notice this film also came out literally just maybe a week or so before World War II started. Okay, remember World War II started on the 1st of September 1939, and this is the 25th of August right here, the release date in the States, or the 10th for the Green Bay release date. So that's pretty blooming interesting as well. I thought, well, you know, if the wizard is going back to Omaha, going home, yeah, back to the Amiga, I better look at this dude, Francis Philip, and look at the name, Whopper Man. I don't know how you actually pronounce that, but I'm thinking like of the Whopper. Oh dear. The Whopper in War Games, and obviously the Whopper is referenced in Back to the Future right there. Doc's Garage is right next to Burger King, and there's Whopper wrappers just on that side table or whatever the hell it is next, you know, in the right at the start with all the clocks. So yeah, the Whopper, the Whooper Man. Oh dear. I did his number jump, June 1st, 1890, right? Look at this. June 1st, 1890 through to 9/1. It's 4994 on the palindropic. Drop the zeros off. Crazy. I wonder actually if I included end date, whether that was was there something interesting about that? No. Man, that's going to bug me where maybe I'm just imagining that I lost that 302 somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, you know, again, Peyton Manning is 49 years old this year. Okay, this dude also, he also dies. This is his death date here. He also dies in 49 as well, which is super duper interesting. And then look, from his death day through, look at this with the 277. Remember, we could do the 277 with the 20706, include the end date, change it to a 7. So from that old girl's birthday through, we were getting that, and then when we did the inversion for the 722, it was 42 days from that date through. Again, I just thought that was interesting. I don't know why I've actually got that set on. It should really be set on that date. Okay, did I just do that, clicking that off? I don't know. Anyway, as you can see, from that date through to 9/1, you can obviously get it. It's the same number. Sorry, I'm not really doing this correctly. It's the same, you know, number jump. Just interesting anyway. It's not the same number jump, but it's got the same numbers in it. Okay. What else? Anyway, that's basically the decode. Yeah. So the wizard going back home, the 9/4 references. Again, this ties back to plutonium with the 94. What else to say? I don't know. It's just absolutely crazy, isn't it? I'm going to get off now and get another video going because I want to show you some other stuff, you know. The hot air balloon, the loon, yeah, the Luna. he was given the moon when he had his tackle out. I think I've done it all. Let me click back through these just to double check. Okay, back with the numbers there. Jamie, Anne. Okay, it just sounds like a made-up story to me, but you know, you never know. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it for that one. The shirts that he wore, or he also wore. Well, did we talk about that? The 16 as well when he was at college. So, that is it. What was this one? Okay, yeah, we did that. Let's just do it without. No, I can't. For the life of me, I'm sure I'll probably stumble across it at some other point in time. I don't know. Maybe it was a double click on one of these or something that brought me back to 302. You never know. This is the problem with all this. Unless I write it all down on a load of bits of paper, it's just all over the place. Anyway, I'm leaving it there for this one. So, just interesting connections. We'll see if something might happen. You know, a news story with him on the 22nd would be very interesting. I shot the sheriff. Oh dear. I hope he doesn't get shot. That wouldn't be very good. Anyway, okay. I shot the sheriff. I'm just thinking about the song now. Another little avenue to go down. Yeah. Okay. Right, we're going to leave it there for that one. That would be interesting if something like that happened. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, it would be a stage event, of course. It would definitely be a staged event, but that would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it? It wouldn't have to be, you know, it could even be something ridiculous like, you know, a story where he's on TV and somebody throws him a football and it hits him in the head or something. I mean, it could just be as, do you know what I mean? Just a weird little story like that to indicate the sheriff getting shot or something. You know, weird the way reality works. So you know, okay, I'm gonna leave it there. And some kind of news story maybe on the 22nd, and it maybe have to tie back to Pi a little bit as well. Okay, thanks for watching. All right, bye.